said, welcome to the Support Your Local Poet Open Mic. Yeah, that's more like it. My name is Lackluster. I will be your host tonight. I am very happy to be here. We are going to race right through this. I have a sign-up sheet over here for anyone interested in getting on the open mic. That sign-up sheet also says that you either want to be filmed by my good friend Jenny for the FlintUnderground.org web series, or that you don't, and you just write, hey, I don't want to be filmed, I don't want to be recorded, and she respects that. So my first thing I'm going to do is bring up a poet just right off the bat. Please help me welcome the one, the only Ryan Bellows.
Thanks, man. I haven't written anything new, but I got this Lawrence Ferlinghetti book, Coney Island of the Mind, which was published in the 50s, so it's pretty popular with like the beatniks and whatnot. I think like it kind of reads like Ginsberg to me. Like when I read it, I hear Ginsberg's voice. I don't know what Ferlinghetti's voice is, but anyway, he writes this in choruses. There's actually like 15 or 29 choruses, so I'm actually not going to read all that, but I'll read a few of them. And I have some in my car, these Kearsley Park University t-shirts that these guys are wearing. I have more of those if anybody's interested.
How much are they?
They're $10 tonight.
Only $10?
$10? Deal.
Whoa! Where can I find one of those shirts if I wasn't at the open mic?
Then they're $15.
And where would and where?
Or the collab night, they're $10.
And where was the website be that's right down there?
Website.
Yeah, the website is right there. What is it?
You can find out more about Kearsley Park University at Kearsley Park University Kinkahoos groups at Facebook.
What's a kinkahoo?
It's a nocturnal tree-dwelling creature.
Oh.
It's a cousin of a wolverine. See, so since U of M helps like make up Kearsley Park University, then we're related to them, kind of, by nature. I don't know. I'm really kind of crazy, but that's all right. I enjoy it. It's fun. So, anyways, let me get on with this. This is Coney Island of the Mind. I'm just going to read a few verses or choruses here. Oh yeah, the Writers Circle, man. Tuesday at 5:30 at the Torch, we're gonna meet with. You got some writing, you want to get some critiques, some feedback on it, or whatever. We're meeting at 5:30 at the Torch on Tuesday. So anyhow, in Goya's greatest scenes, we seem to see the people of the world exactly at the moment when they first attained the title of suffering humanity. They writhe upon the page in a veritable rage of adversity, heaped up, groaning with babies and bayonets under cement skies, an abstract landscape of blasted trees, bent statues, bats' wings and beaks, slippery gibbets, cadavers and carnivorous cocks, and all the final hollering monsters of the imagination of disaster. They're so bloody real, it is as if they really still existed, and they do, only the landscape has changed. They still are ranged along the roads, plagued by legionnaires, false windmills, and demented roosters. We are the same people, only further from home, on freeways 50 lanes wide, on a concrete continent, spaced with bland billboards illustrating imbecile illusions of happiness. The scene shows fevered tumbrils, but more strung-out citizens and painted cars, and they have strange license plates and engines that devour America.
Oh.
So I guess that was the first chorus, so I'll just read a couple more of these in order. 2. Sailing through the streets of Deimos, we saw a symbolic bird shrieking over us, while eager eagles hovered and elephants in bathtubs floated past us out to sea, strumming bent mandolins and bailing for Old Glory with their ears, while patriotic maidens wearing paper poppies and eating bonbons run along the shores waiting after us. And while we lashed ourselves to masts and stopped our ears with chewing gum, dying donkeys at high hills sang low songs, and gay cows flew away chanting Athenian anthems as their pods turned to tulips and helicopters from Helios flew over us, dropping free railway tickets from Los Angeles to heaven and promising free elections. So that we set up mast and sail on that swart ship once more, and so set forth once more, forth upon the godly sea, loaded with liberated Vestal virgins and discussed throwers reading Walden. But shortly after reaching the strange suburban shores of that great American demi-democracy, looked at each other with a mild surprise, silent upon a peak in Darien.
All right.
Wow. What kind of drugs was that guy on?
I really like this book. I just got this sweet thing. Here's 3. The poet's eye, obscenely seeing, sees the surface of the round world with its drunk rooftops and wooden, I don't know how to say that word, oisocks on clotheslines, and its clay males and females with hot legs and rosebud breasts and rollaway beds, and its trees full of mysteries, and its Sunday sparks and speechless statues, and its America with its ghost towns and empty Ellis Islands, and its surrealistic landscape of mindless prairies, supermarket suburbs, steam-heated cemeteries, Cinerama holy days, and protesting cathedrals. A kiss-proof world of plastic toilet seats, Tampax and taxis, drugstore cowboys and Las Vegas virgins, disowned Indians and cinemad matrons, un-Roman senators and conscientious non-objectors, and all the other fatal shorn-up fragments of the immigrant's dream come too true and mislaid among the sunbathers.
All right.
Is that good? You guys had enough? All right. So that's Lawrence Ferlinghetti, man. Coney Island Mine. It's kind of like a traditional beatnik type poetry book that was popular many years ago. So cool, man. Thanks.
Thank you.
That was a good channeling of Ferlinghetti there, which is kind of like a cool root for a lot of what the writer's circle was, and a lot of the styles of writers in the community. So I want to keep moving. I want to welcome up our next guest. She is a first-time poet to the stage. You guys got to show a lot of love. Give it up for Denise Stodola. Oh, I have some murder that last one.
I have 2 very, very different poems that I just sort of picked because they were already printed out and my computer wouldn't let me print any newer things, so they're a little bit older. But first one's a little bit long, so bear with me. And I'm not going to explicate it beforehand, but I'm riffing off of an ancient myth about Philomela, who becomes a nightingale. I don't know if you've read about that, but if you decide you want to look into it, great. Anyway, this is called Philomela Finds Her Tongue. Tricking me with a gold band, he takes me to a West Texas tumbleweed town, 9 to 5 weekday, beer party weekend, Little Debbie snack, carport, casserole, beanie weenie world. While the baby pulls my long hair hurting, I nurse him, no one talking, watching rusty-fingered dust storms spread in darkening blue. I have nothing to say to his chain-smoking, scruffed-out turquoise and silver friends asking who's sleeping with who. Why can't you be like other women, he asks. Sit there with your hair tied up tight, sulking alone. Can't you cook something to feed me and my friends? I wonder if he means I should have that man in my house, the one who beats his wife. I eat in silence, squishing food under my fork, stabbing the meat, bleeding, retreating alone with my baby, babbling. We play, smear the strained peaches on the kitchen table. At night, watching his beer-soaked, even breathing, all I hear is the wind wailing, blowing wood shutters smacking against window frames, the refrigerator humming in the other room, distant. Now I call him, rarely, to yell. I cut my hair, gave up meat for sleeping in open-windowed nights, playing, hearing my own music, dancing and singing at the sink, washing my dishes, ridding myself of rings, I don't cook except for my son a birthday cake, answering questions. Mom, you're funny, you look like a boy. Why do you cut your hair? As the rain starts, I answer, because I want to. And the second one's very short, so your pain will be short-lived. It's called Atmosphere. On some nights, you can stand outside, solid, in quiet dark blue, bright with moon glow, like candlelight on a still marble statue, startled by the tinkling of bright metal chimes and dark wind. On other nights, silent black trees on the horizon meet the blackness of the sky, and there's nothing to hold on to, nothing to hold you down or keep you up. Other times you go where the dizziness of your mind rushes through a high pinpoint, shifting its shape, density unstable, as you surge dark blue liquid air, burning quiet and quick through everything you meet, seeing the smell of dark, fusing with light, tasting the cool white smoothness of a statue in a grove of trees, alone, but not until you're drawn back down into the loud and painful weight of a heavy body.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, keep going for Denise. That was awesome. Yeah. And I want to remind everybody that might not know that we have another really cool open mic open to musicians, jugglers, poets, actors, anything you can think of. It's even open canvas. Everybody can kind of contribute to a painting. That's once a month, every third Wednesday. It's coming up this month. It's going to be at Good Beans Cafe from 7 to 10. It's all free. It's that little side room they got, and it's a really cool night. I encourage everybody to come on out. That's Creative Lines too. That's going to be the third Wednesday every month, so it's this month coming up, like a week or so. So I'm going to bring up Angela to the stage next. So I'm going to welcome Angela up here, and actually, can I read a quick poem real quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. Is that cool?
Cool.
I gotta just read one, you know how I am. This one's old, but it's fun. Go ahead, burn it all. We count on nothing being changed but the ugly peeling paint and columns of smoke replacing pillared skyline shade. Everything seems more hopeless as arson artists chisel out a brand new mess from anger and unhappiness with molten memos filling demolition lists. That's hate mail, self-addressed, signed with a gasoline kiss. If raised sane, ashamed of flaming inheritance, fed up with sordid heroes, founders, and today all the same, breaking all our basket eggs into brownfield stains and live grenades. No master plan in 50 years, but we're still all slaves while freedom flees playing rat race cage. A brick tides crashing waves drown hopes of rehab haze. Everything's washed away but truth and rage. So frustrated people set ablaze or pray to escape. Swallowing pride with deep-seated hate, this circus city's clowns joke around with money and lie until it's lost. Wasting time while run down cogs in a 3-ring broken watch. Lately though I've come to blame idealized fame in a city stripped of wits by whips and encouraged to win a dropout race to bridge card slips. As descendants of factory fodder, we inherit mounds of ish and at most, forgetfulness. Defeatists, dealing with decades of loser rants and paid off silences. But our future's not in flames, or at least not yet. Outsourcing's aim was to discredit social gains and pile people with debt. Now there are two prevailing camps of thought for living here today. Either singe your way sarcoma homes and know in their place nothing better will ever grow, or give up, burn a blunt and don't worry about changing what you never cared to really know. This town is like a dentist office. And gummy curbs, house holes where homes were pulled to save box-tooth blocks on smiling lanes from roof decay and rotting away.
Rewind.
This town is like a dentist office. And gummy curbs, house holes where homes were pulled to save box-tooth blocks on smiling lanes from roof decay and rotting away. Any second that they choose to change the game and refuse to play Firebomb, Monopoly, or Pop-Off Mad at Trouble, the Fly City would rather tear itself down for room to breathe or live some dumb bank to seed and preserve its rich history of rubble. Thanks. Please keep going for Angela.
I know we're in a hurry here. So, try to get this done in 3, 2, 1. So I gotta go home first.
Never paid for. She's well,
when we were at the conference yesterday, and I saw you, that I was inspired to write this when I saw you. So I hope you enjoy it.
sure.
For every second, you can mean the world to someone. For a split second, you can smile at someone, making the reality was better just for a second. I made a dream in December with no guidance. Really, what do I have to complain about? God uses me every day to make someone more just a little further every second. People read my poetry. And if they want to, you can reread that because I'm not ashamed to say it. I know I talk funny. So if you want to reread it, you can.
Oh, yes.
And I just want to say, she was saying that she saw me at a conference yesterday. We had an Inspire conference over here, which is a really cool like social innovation thing. And we were talking, and she was inspired to write this poem. I'm going to read it back. Really nice poem. For a split second, you can mean the world to someone. For a split second, you can smile at someone, making the reality of life better for just a second. I may be 31 and disabled with no guy yet. Really, what do I have to complain about? God uses me every day to make someone's life just a little brighter. Every second that people read my poetry.
Jesus, one day I will never be away from you again. You died on the cross to be with me all day, every day. I guess I might be alone of us because I don't walk on my own 2 feet. So I will be walking by your side, never to be away from you again. You died on the cross to be with you all day, every day.
In case you didn't hear it. Jesus, one day I will never be away from you again. You died on the cross to be with me all day, every day. On the earth I might be alone a lot because I don't walk on my own 2 feet. Soon I will be walking by your side, never to be away from you again. You died on the cross to be with me all day, every day.
Can I do one more?
You sure you want more? What do you guys think?
I have so much to say. Yeah, I think God is the only one who understands me. God knows my thoughts, working out and put. I have so much more to say. Yeah, God is the only one who really knows me. So I will stop about what seems important. Pointing and smile, planting and smile at my face. Overall, God has really
Yet I think God is the only one who understands me. God knows my thoughts like a well-written book. I have so much more to say, yet God is the only one who really knows me. So I will shut up about life disappointments, planting a smile on my face. Overall, God has really blessed my life.
And with that said, I will say that I love the flea market and from 1 to 5 and come on out if you want to buy some of my poetry and support one of your local poets.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you, Angela. She'll be down at the flea market tomorrow from 1 to 5. Come on out if you want to buy some poetry. Come support your local poet.
That's in Burton.
Out
Where the old Louis Davidson store used to be.
in Burton.
I'll give you a caption if you send me. Can you text me the info exactly how you want it? I'll give you a caption, okay? Okay? Or Facebook me or whatever.
Thanks a lot, Angela.
You're welcome.
Alright, so the next one we got is a great local DJ. He does shows at, I believe, the Loft on Tuesdays, and this very bar, in this very room, on this very night, every single Saturday. Help me welcome our awesome DJ, Michael A.
I can still feel the places where your fingers touched mine like tiny burns. No, that's too melodramatic. But listen, my skin is calling out to yours, this much is true. That single touch in passing was insufficient. Other voices crowd my ears like the insistent buzz of gnats, but your voice is so distant that I can only hear the blurred echo of what I thought you said. Thought you said, said. I see you on the other side peering back at me curiously. This divide is apparently too wide for either one of us to dare to jump. This one, I guess it requires a brief explanation. It's written about a cousin of mine who is in prison for life for murdering her mother. She had a lot of problems with substance abuse, and in rehab met a crack addict, and together they put together a plan of killing her for the insurance money and trying to make it look like a robbery. And failed miserably. And both of them are in prison for life. I've had to deal with a lot of trying to sort that out in my head, and I've tried to write about it more than once. I think what I finally figured out I had to do was to, instead of trying to write it from my own point of view, I tried to write it from hers. So this is called Letter from Mary Beth. I never claimed to be a unicorn, no shining beacon of purity. In fact, if I may mix the metaphor, my halo was tarnished and broken by the time I was able to walk. By my actions, I was able to usurp an authority that was never truly there. Listen, their drug of choice was alcohol. Mine was, well, what have you got? I know that it seemed to come out of nowhere, but I felt it coming my whole life. And it was a cancer in my soul, and yes, I have a fucking soul, whether you think I do or not. And maybe I deserve, hell, I know I don't deserve for you to recognize my soul. What I did was unforgivable, I know this. I do know this, and yet I still hear her struggling in my dreams. No voice, just her body fighting on the floor for what seemed like hours, and fighting and fighting, and why wouldn't she stop? And why wouldn't she stop? Why? Please, please, stop. At first, there was nothing. Just a black hole in my head, and the dreams started coming. Then, when they locked me up and the drugs were gone, there was no more sanctuary in the distant fadeaway darkness. I turned my face away in the dream, just like I did when... But I couldn't get away from the sound. Anyway, I know you can't forgive me. I just wanted you to know. Sorry isn't enough, but it's all I have. Stripped of what pride I thought I had, I await your eventual pleasure, awkward and twisted on this dusty floor. You see, I must be broken deliberately if I am ever to be whole again. There is no anesthetic strong enough for the admittedly risky surgery I've elected to perform on myself, and I cannot do it alone. For this next trick, I will require a volunteer.
Hey Mikey, have you and Sarah worked on your voice project? Are you guys still doing that? I'm sorry. Is it not appropriate?
I should talk about that some other time.
He wants to plug voices.
Feel free to do it.
Okay. I'll give you a caption.
It just occurred to me. I forgot it.
Can you cut all
that out, Jimmy. I'm terrible.
Okay.
That's that face.
And then I realized that it wasn't me that you were fighting with. It didn't matter what I said, you would still be arguing with the ghosts in your head. And this is my last one, and it's short, as most of them are. This is called The Moon. It almost seems kind of silly to, the title is almost as long as wax as the desire fills you, wane as the mood takes you, rise when you like and set when you must. Be like the moon, but be constant as the moon, and I will rise and fall like the tide until the oceans go dry.
All right, excellent. DJ Michael A. All right, coming up next we have Alex Markoff. And before he does that, do you guys know what Voices is? Anyone?
Hey, are you gonna finish that beer and go buy
You do.
Yeah.
All right, Voices is this annual event. I'm going to just do it quickly. It's the 9th annual One Creative Alliance is done. It's going to be the first Saturday in November, November 2nd, for free at the GFAC down here by Haleburger, 1 to 7. It's a open mic / wall art exhibition, and it's about collaborations between literary and visual artists. It's going to be a very cool event. It is for free. It is November 2nd, Saturday, Voices, GFAC. Come check it out if you haven't been there before. It's going to be a cool day. Hosted by Terry the Farseer, Mr. Kisler, T-Funk, if anyone knows him. He's going to be an awesome host, so you guys shouldn't miss that. So please help me welcome up Alex Markoff.
Three palms. Side effects. The recently prescribed anti-anxiety drug slowly lingers from the taking of PM meds to after the taking of AM meds, its consequences measured across the line. A somewhat light head over a mellow heart, a mild, fuss-free brainstorm. I've decided not to go online to see the complete list of side effects. I know I feel a little woozy in the morning on my way to work, but I also know there's no stiff anxiety at the bottom of my throat. At the end of the day, after an early dinner, I walk outside. I walk within the confines of this suburban condominium situation, still sensing the effort that snapped me out of it that morning. A life lived, neither a secret nor a symptom, but a wrought combination left alone, each breath hushed by the fire. A vaporous psychopharmaceutical incantation, and I am neither overwhelmed with emotion nor sedated. As I walk to where the road between condominiums acts as an alley that leads halfway into the sunset, never have I had to go to the bathroom this bad. The indication. The indication might have also been a clue, but clues ask more and shake less than this small event did. So I boarded the bus on Connecticut Avenue that morning, and I keep saying this, the empty sidewalks were very empty. We're only fingerprints. We're only the work of ghosts, and yes, you can't see ghosts. How else can I tell you? The streets were barren, cold, and almost hard to look at. A woman entered the bus with one child in her arms, another attached to her fingers, keeping up with her as they sat down and remained so silent, so expressionless. The indication might have also only been indicative of what persists only within the indication's own noteworthy space. Without enough empty seats, the woman placed her baby on the lap of another woman, an older woman I assume she knew. A couple stops later, I witnessed no communication to speak of, no eye contact, as the mother, in perfect silence, simply lifted her baby off the other woman's lap and turned away, her children in her arms as she walked directly off the bus. On a morning with far too much to hide, that was how the indication also hit, left its own noteworthy imprint and hit that as well. Free fall. 4-year-old fingers, soft knuckles swiveled in their sockets, pry. The doom of the initial wobble, the unconfirmed free fall of the shiny amber and gold-encrusted vase, the inevitable incompletion that asks, who cares?
All right. Yeah, keep it going for Alex. The next poet I'm going to bring up, I am happy to call my nemesis. He is a Flint 500 former champion, or I guess champion is probably like president, so you keep it for life, even if you're not a president or champion. So he's a Flint 500 champion, and I really want to welcome him up here. He's going to give you guys a good show. Please give it up for Ethereal, the poet.
$2. Give her $1.
Under the influence of innocence, the alchemist tends to mix the simplest elements with the grace of a moonlit ballet, causing subatomic changes to sway the crowd between tears and droplets of blood for laughter with a crown of thorns, made from the incisors of vipers and raptors, tearing through whack rappers with chapters and pages from the sages who write memoirs to protect their poetic reservoirs within their cryogenic chambers, freezing the growth of progress that has managed to outlast entire civilizations. See, poetry is timeless, and your Timex cannot measure it because verses are systems of measurement, but no one's laying down the rulers. and holding them accountable for their own inches as they're inching towards devastation with miles of mild-mannered linguistics laced with arsenic. The emotional arsonists, setting flame to the cosmetic apparel draped around the shoulders of giants while stepping on and over non-compliance with total reliance on self and kind. Not knowing what kinds of madness and monotony this dictation of that dichotomy causes within the doctrines of culture. So the culture shocked like Dr. Spockbrook is watching the clock playing Operation. Now my heart's operation is compromised. My pulse subsides and I do things I wouldn't normally do. Into the mud, mire, and glue, I'm stuck. Stuck in time. Stuck in my head, stuck in a cavernous chasm laced with spider webs and corporate minutes, which minutely bring congruency to a once symmetrical system. But all of that has been negated by these contextual schisms between these corporations and their commodities and this dictation of that dichotomy, which is probably the reason kids are taught the value of monopoly from infancy. Call of Duty and Grand Theft Auto make playground infantries, battleships, and malicious entities sent to see that the destruction of this art is carried out properly, and no one bothers to see the alchemy behind you and me, because they can't see through the mist that turns a poet like me into the alchemist. Thank you. I want mercy, not sacrifice. So I'm giving up the sacred rites of passages used to write, losing sleep for countless nights of pain, stemming from the inflammation engulfing the flame of natural desires within my hippocampus, cerebellum dipped in the river Styx, so I'm able to kill these as if I was Achilles. Burying Troy in a cloud of smoke and ashes, my war chariot ascends on a cloud of burning ash from the immolation of my path. So I'm hidden like a secret stash. I'm protected by an ominous lock from Gringotts with subterranean chambers encompassing the mind of Odysseus. So I'm leaving behind trails of hideous, villainous death and despair for those poets that don't care enough to develop this craft properly. Those who don't spend nearly enough effort and time into putting energy into writing their lines, but they'll spend their whole lifelines trying to flip a dime. So flip a coin. Heads or tails. Drugs or sex. See, in this economy, sex sells. So we write Gomorrah a constitution for prostitution while sodomizing any good habits you may or may not have, making you a sacrificial calf for the streets, a martyr for break beats, and Oscar Grant for peace, and my soul is well aware. My soul is well aware of the explosives that they're willing to place beneath my feet, so let me blow up, just so I can say I got lifted. Because in the words of Saul Williams, before death is eternity, after death is eternity, there is no death, there's only eternity. And I write on the backs of the wings of eternity because you said those same wings would take me higher. So let's rewind back to the time when my parents' sex cells came together to create me. I was born 20,000 Negro leagues beneath the sea forward. That allows me to foresee these words before they grow into a poet's tree, and I'm the American. Me reeking like coast up, coast all, posting our poets up like it's in paint priming. I'm in haste, priming this rhyming like a bomb, ready to detonate within the catacombs of Flint's crime rate. It's the inner recesses of our history. So now, I'm John Connor. I'm coming back from the future to save you from your past self. I'm a sharpshooter, premeditating, assassinating the future generations as if history had a hysterectomy. I'm singing melancholy polyphony. It's divine. I said, I'm John Connor. Premeditating, assassinating the future generations as if history had a hysterectomy. Singing melancholy polyphony. It's divided, we'll stand united. Let them fall alone, as if they had no proprioception. So now I'm second guessing the orientation and placing my limbs as if this was kinetic deception. I'm causing you to question that which has always been, as if you never were her. Add an E, she's here, but add an O when she becomes a stronger hair-O-N than any DEA could ever see. Grade A, top of the line Californication between the preacher, his weed man, and his wife. So medically marry who you wanna, but laws can be flawed. See, this isn't Isaac Asimov, but as I move, I see that life isn't about who wins if you lose.
All right. That was Ethereal the poet. So we're gonna bring our last poet for the night. You guys having a good time? Yeah. All right. This last one's definitely a heavyweight. He's got a kind of different vibe from our last poet. So please help me welcome up Nathan.
Isaac Asimov, though. I don't have any.
I mean, we're all talented geniuses in this room. It's okay. It's like a Mensa meeting in here.
I don't know. Mixed head.
Oh. Now I gotta change my order, because I'm going after someone. No, I'm kidding. This is called The City. This is after a little forlorn stay in New York, a city I love and must visit all the time, but can't live there for many a reason. The city, streets paved with people, each one going here or there. Such steady walk of determinations, while neon angels float on each horizon, singing serenading songs and sacred hymns, praising the name of capitalism, and forcing them into all present ears and down each and every throat. Who was the fool who thought it best to avoid the sun to rid the wind, or trade the stars to live amongst the clouds? Without rhyme or reason and no particular ending place, I walk out of step, out of beat, ruining the song of progression as I make my way randomly here and there. But with so many people, my abstinence is hidden. It is so easy to lose oneself here. All right, this is called Morning May Cause Drowsiness. The ground is covered in snow and I still cannot figure out just where it is that summer went. But it seems that routine is a way of keeping constant, so here it goes again, another stage set for a tragic ending. Here's one for happiness, here's one for forgetting. Swallow them down to your burning gut and stop thinking for a moment. Comatose, suspended life, lost in dreams of fantasy. To think Descartes was wrong. It is not thinking that ensures my being. I feel, therefore I am. And the winter chill reminds me so blatantly just how much I feel. And that cold that tightens my skin reminds me so blatantly just how alive I am. But I suppose Mother Nature made a mistake during evolution, or saw it fit to void us of hibernation. So here's to self-inflicted wounds. One for happiness, one for forgetting. Swallow them down in my burning gut and sleep the year away.
Yeah.
Right, the nocturnal loneliness. I am an insomniac, so my poems take place a lot at nighttime, if you haven't learned. The right time, the nighttime. The nocturnal loneliness. The nighttime is the worst. The silence seems to deepen as the light begins to lessen, and silence can be so loud. That voice I fear so much, that disembodied voice that spurns from who knows where, grows louder and louder. I have yet to figure out exactly where it is he gets his strength. If it is the silence or the darkness that fuels him. Perhaps it is a combination of them both. But I know as the darkness sets in and the silence grows louder, that he will come to me with all his badgering and ridiculing and belittling and tempting. And I know as the darkness sets in and the silence grows louder, that he will not leave until he has won and I am defeated and I am destroyed and I am broken. I curse him, stop, I beseech thee, I will not listen, I do not believe. But all he does is twist the corners of his imagined disgusting mouth into a frightening splintered smile. He knows I am lying. He knows he will win. There is no greater enemy than oneself. This is called Winter's Only Light. Winter knocks on the old rustic door and darkness stares in the frosted windows. The wind howls and softly whispers as it slams against the sturdy walls outside and blows through each crack and crevice of the aged, worn-out wooden cabin. Besides a rickety table, the room is empty. A lonely candle sits in its saucer on the table, illuminating a small halo of glowing light. The light protects and counsels me from the extreme coldness and darkness of the winter night and its noises. I am overwhelmed with gratitude as well as grief as I watch the candle's poor flame struggle its hardest to fight off the oppressive darkness as its waxy tears drip down its sides. I fear that it will consume its entire self before the night moves into the distance, that the light will disappear in a poof as its last breath disperses into the air. The darkness will engulf that small room. I fear the night and the enormity of the darkness and all its desolate connotations as it rushes into whatever area it can, filling space with its presence of absence and weighing on everything present. But if I just close my eyes, it doesn't matter. For I can always just assume that the candle is still burning and the light is still shining.
Keep it going for Nathan, and keep it going for yourselves. I want to thank everyone for coming out tonight. I want to thank our awesome DJ, Mike Delay. I want to thank Churchills. And I will see you guys next time here on December 7th. That's the first Saturday in December from 9 to about 10. We're going to have it start off with Bradford Lee. You guys know Bradfield. Yeah. He's playing some music. And then the one after that, we're going to have LB, who's in the room tonight, rocking his KPU and Mission Jacket. He'll be here February 1st, so come check out those two. Those are the next two, and I'll see you guys in a month or two. Bye. Yeah.